Now, we hopefully are going to get every one of our kids back in school soon. I mean, really, honestly, get our kids back in school and hopefully get everybody that wants this vaccine a vaccine. They've had some issues down in Chesterfield County, and credit to the Chesterfield County Board of Supervisors. They stepped up to the plate, and be they Republican or Democrat, said we gotta get a handle on this stuff. We chatted the other day with my buddy Kevin Carroll, who is a member of the Board of Soups, represents Matoica. Chris Winslow is the vice chairman for the Chesterfield County Board of Supervisors. He's joining us. Hey, Chris, appreciate you being here.
Thanks so much for having me this afternoon.
Absolutely. It is my pleasure. Can you just remind everybody why Chesterfield received the sort of attention it did? Because you guys really just stepped up and said, we got to send, how do we say it nicely, a strongly worded letter?
Right. Well, I appreciate that. It's interesting because after we sent that letter, it's almost like it really got some attention because things kind of turned on a dime and we started to see some real movement in our local health district. Of course, as you know, these local health districts are managed by the state. They're creatures of the Commonwealth. And so the Chesterfield Health District, even though it's labeled as such, also includes our friends in Powhatan and in Colonial Heights. And so it's been an interesting ride. But yes, that letter seems to have gotten some attention. We are now in a position in Chesterfield where we have vaccinated a little over 9% of our population. We had a successful event up at Richmond International Raceway over the weekend. And, of course, we have our weekly vaccination efforts down at the local fairgrounds by appointment only, I should say. Mm-hmm. Please don't show up if you don't have an appointment.
Right.
But it's been good. So far, we're making some progress, and we're really reaching out to try to stand shoulder to shoulder with the health department to work on some of these logistical issues in the process.
Okay, so yours is not the only health district that has had problems. I had a gentleman from Sussex on the other day.
I heard that.
Yeah, the state just basically, I don't know, picked up all their toys and went home and said, hey, good luck to you. Go 60 miles this way, 60 miles that way. And I just thought, it just seemed insane to me. And then, of course, the situation in Chesterfield. Do you get the sense that this is what the Commonwealth is doing just willy-nilly because they just don't have enough staff? What's the real reason behind it?
It's really interesting. In some ways, perhaps the health district model is just not, in tune to this effort right off the bat. And so I think they've had some internal logistical items that they've been working on from the state level. Really, at the end of the day, if localities sort of had more control over this process, I think that it actually may be running more smoothly. And that's something that we've been trying to do on the Chesterfield level is work for more authority in the process, particularly the public-facing process, the registration process. I mean, Ideally, we'd be able to tell anybody who calls us, hey, Mrs. Jones, you're scheduled at this day, at this time. This is your registration number. If this changes, we will let you know. Someone will call you if the supply, for instance, changes and the hospitals keep more for some reason, or the state doesn't distribute enough to the health district. We've got to pull back, or maybe there's more in a good case with the Johnson & Johnson coming online. Right. We'd be able to adjust that and account for that. So I really think there's just the job is a really big one, and I don't think the health districts, at least initially, have been set up for it.
Yeah. Wow. Chris Winslow is joining us, the vice chairman of the Chesterfield County Board of Supervisors. Now, you mentioned that it seems as if things are a little bit better at the present time, right?
Yes. And so, one of the things we're having success with in our talks with the state is as I mentioned, at 9%, a little over 9%, I think that probably doesn't include about 4,000 vaccinations over the weekend at RIR and then in our other efforts. So I think we're maybe a little over the 9%, but we're making progress. But one of the things we're trying to do is not only assist with logistical support with the health district, with like IT work and things like this, but also trying to think outside the box. How can our libraries play a role in helping to vaccinate? How can we work on identifying and partnering with our healthcare providers who basically have the best lists available? All of this, we don't need to recreate the wheel. The doctors know their patients. They know who's over 65. They know who's over 75. They know who has pre-existing health conditions. So we really just want to unlock them at this point and get the vaccine rolling even better than it is.
Here's the one problem with that, Chris, and I don't want you to take it the wrong way. That smacks of such common sense that the whole idea is going to be foreign to the vast majority of bureaucrats. You know that, right?
Well, we perhaps.
Yeah.
I think we've certainly heard some of that in some conversations, but I'll tell you, I do think that there's a lot of good people working at this, but
Absolutely.
Really they just need to let the local governments, let our local providers into the conversation more. And I think if they do that and we can help identify every wrinkle in the logistical process, that by the time this supply opens up, we'll be ready to roll.
Well, listen, I am so grateful. I'm not in that health district, but I'm just very grateful that the Board of Supervisors down there in Chesterfield County, across party lines, said we've got to put the people in our community above any partisan concerns. And I think you're really sort of blazing a trail here for other communities around the Commonwealth. Can I ask you real fast, Chris, about the back to school? Obviously, Monday became a snow day, but I got to think those elementary school kids and their parents and the teachers have got to be thrilled to be back in the classroom.
Well, they are, and we, of course, back to the vaccination on this piece, we have been prioritizing our elementary school staff and teacher populations to get them vaccinated. And in fact, we'll be rolling into our middle school population, finishing up with our elementary school and rolling into our middle school teaching and staff populations later this week and into next week. So we're really, really pleased to be putting those folks first and in a position to get back to face-to-face instruction that is, in a safer way than before.
Well, I think you should be very proud about what it is that you're doing and how you've done it. And all kidding aside, I appreciate that hard work, and I'm certainly grateful for you taking some time to chat with us.
Thank you, and thank you for your show. Listen to it daily.
Thank you so much. That is Chris Winslow. He is the vice chairman of the Chesterfield County Board of Supervisors, and they have led the way. They have led the way. They sent a note. You remember this. They sent a letter basically to Ralph Northam and said, look, man, this health district is ready and willing. The people in this district ready and willing, but you're not getting any cooperation from the state. So hopefully, fingers crossed, it'll get turned around a little bit.